Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of My Team, and today we're going to be heading to the Chinese Grand Prix, a returning track on our calendar for this year's season, and I'm very excited to be returning to this track, a former popular track amongst the grid and amongst everyone, and I'm very glad that we can put this back on our calendar. Last race, if you haven't watched, spoilers alert, it was an Audi 1-2 once again. We just about beat Sebastian Vettel, and I'm very excited to see what we can do in this race. No upgrades so far, but we do have upgrades on the way. They haven't arrived yet. We're still ahead of Red Bull by a pretty solid amount, so we should be alright for now. We will have upgrades coming in further on in the race. Anyways, let's see what we can do this weekend, and let's see what we got in store.
It's time again then for Formula One in Shanghai. Northwest of the thriving city of over 24 million people is a circuit that first featured in the championship calendar back in 2004. It played host to Formula One's 1000th Grand Prix back in 2019. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Lightning, Verstappen, Carlos Sainz and Russell, Norris, Magnussen, Hamilton and Pierre Gasly, Schwartzman, Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo and Joe, Tsunoda, Albon, Lance Stroll and Oscar Piastri, Latifi, Bottas, they've taken a grid penalty, Armstrong and Mick Schumacher. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. Let me ask you about Aston Martin. We have some changes to the regulations, of course, which mainly revolve around the chassis this year, and unfortunately the early signs are that they've not adapted particularly well.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs, but this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Alright, here we are then for the Chinese Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc on pole position and Sebastian Vettel on our right hand side, and ourselves in P3 locking out the second row. So it's all clear skies, a little bit of clouds there and there, so the wise choice is to use mediums to hards. Softs will definitely just overheat, especially on our front left, so I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to actually stick with this setup because last time it was a bit of a mess. Plus, I don't really have a setup prepared for this track, as it was added like a couple months ago. Anyways, let's make this one a blast.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out. Reform the grid, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Alright, here we go then for the Chinese Grand Prix. It's been years since we're on this track and we're finally back. And it's lights out and away we go, getting off to a decent start. Leclerc getting off to a slightly poor start, Vettel going alongside. Who's going to take the lead into turn one? They're both going side by side. We've got Verstappen on our right hand side. There's two cars on each side. Looks like Vettel might take the lead, but Leclerc's trying to cover him off. And they're still going side by side. We cover off Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz follows the way. And Vettel takes the lead of this race possibly, and they're still fighting for it. Go round the outside, little nudge from behind as we hit Charles' head late on the brakes, but Leclerc still holds the lead of this race. Wow. So a pretty decent start. Vettel's really improved in this start. As we go into the sector 3 start for this straight. Here comes Max Verstappen. Look at that straight line speed from the Red Bull. We're just maxed out. As Verstappen gets past, almost goes into the back of Sebastian Vettel. We're getting slide. Struggling for traction. We just about cover Verstappen. And as we enter lap 2, Charles Leclerc leads the Chinese Grand Prix, takes the fastest lap. We have to come on ahead from Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. Third one is always a tricky one. Alright. Verstappen is catching up. We go and get a first DRS of this race. We're going to try and break the switch if Verstappen is still catching. We just won't have enough straight. We need to harvest some energy. The Valtteri Bottas is out of the session. So he must have had a mechanical failure or something. Alright, we're closer to Seb compared to the last lap, so this may be our chance to get second place. And it's very looking likely. DRS, with the help of ERS, Vettel goes defensive. We're going to make him go all the way to the right, as we're going to switch to the left side by side. We're going to make him move around the outside, possibly Vettel tries and squeezes off. We'll go side by side, but we get better traction compared to Seb. And we can just about cover him off. So we go a little bit deep. Seb will have DRS. And what looks like what could have been second place, we kind of bottled it, and Vettel retakes second place with the help of DRS. So very wise. Gives Verstappen a chance now, and he just hits the side of us. Cheers, Max.
The underbody's taking a little damage. Just watch out for it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Oh my god, okay. Hopefully it won't be bad despite it looking awful. I don't know what effect it'll have yet. Here comes Lando Norris with DRS. We can't really do anything about it. He just storms past us. And Lando locks up. I did not expect that happening. But we retake third place. We just have to do damage limitation at the moment. And it does Norris with DRS. We're going to go defensive. He can possibly make a move around the outside. We're struggling with understeer. Norris is still trying to make the move. We give him as much room as possible. And this gives Carlos Sainz the opportunity at first. I thought Sainz was going to get past Norris there. It did look very likely. Alright, pit window open. Leclerc goes into the pits. Vettel stays out.
In the pits.
So it's just me and Leclerc pitting, and so is Max Verstappen. There's a yellow flag up ahead. I'm not quite sure what's happened. I think someone may be retired. Or just a little incident.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting.
92.3
Pit
second stop.
strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Struggling for traction. Out of the pit exit. I don't know what that yellow flag was on about. As we go around the final corner, we're not going to get Vettel. Doesn't look like, and no we're not. We could possibly get the McLaren. It's going to be very close. And we do so just about. And we take third place back. So Leclerc in the lead. Vettel once again, it's the same order as it was before. Norris almost snatched P3 there. We do get past, and we're up into third place.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes. And gap to the car in front is 6.7 seconds.
Alright, enter lap 27 now. We're just about holding off Lando. We are losing time in certain sectors. The tyre grip is starting to wear out.
Okay, be aware the car behind is catching you by 5/10 a lap, 5/10.
If I had no, what is it, underbody damage, I wouldn't be struggling this much and probably would have been 2 seconds clear at least. But our fronts are really eating up this rubber.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
See, look how much I'm turning and this is a struggle. So we deploy all of our ERS on the straight. Okay, cool. Charles Leclerc starting his final lap of the race. And we're about to start our final lap.
This is your final lap of the race.
Norris and DRS saying we need to try and defend as much as possible to hold off to get this podium. With worn out hards and underbody damage, really ain't helpful. Norris is right on our tail. Yeah, I think we'll hold them off. Alright, this is where it's going to get very difficult. We're seeing the mini-map. Vettel is catching up to Leclerc, but I don't think it'll be enough. We're going to hold it and use all of our ERS. Norris is gaining. Leclerc just about holds off Sebastian Vettel. He's been absolutely amazing this whole entire race from start to finish, and for the first time this season, Ferrari are back and Charles Leclerc wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel holds off a second. We just about hold off a P3 ahead of the charging Norris. Wow, Jesus Christ.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Shanghai. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Well, that lead at the top has somewhat shrunk today. So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Alright, so we extend our lead in the constructor standings. McLaren move up ahead of Alpine with their result today. Charles Leclerc moves ahead of Verstappen and moves third in the driver standings. Our gap has been reduced to 6 points, and we still lead ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Tensions are rising, I can already tell, in our end at least. But yeah, pretty solid result, I'd say, despite having damage limitation. But yeah, 16 points overall, decent job. And yeah, we just move forward really. Alright, we've got upgrades coming in as well, and everything. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's My Team video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe on the channel for more videos, and put your post notifications on if you want to be the first to watch my recent video. And I will see you lot for the Miami Grand Prix.